Podcasting.
I believe the X Twitter feed is live as well as YouTube.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What is this madness?
So we are ready to go here.
What is this voodoo sorcery?
What day is today? Wednesday?
Today
Correct.
is yes.
Hump day. Hump day.
I love that.
All right. We ready to do this? I got to do the official clap.
Of course
Yes,
you do.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ATL on Fire, the podcast where we talk all things Atlanta United Football Club and all things soccer. And I am joined by Dave and Carmen. How are y'all?
I just want to say for those who want the inside scoop on what podcasting is like. So Mikey Dobbs claps to start it, and that way it's easy to find where the location is on the audio. That was the worst clap ever that you just did. You almost missed your hand.
I wasn't watching. It sounded okay. I thought it sounded
It wasn't great.
No,
You're right.
it
I
wasn't.
think Dave nailed
It's
it.
all right. It's all right. We're all good.
We were talking
It's a
too much
slow
beforehand.
start to the podcast,
okay.
but you know,
It's okay. It's gonna
sorry.
get better.
You asked how we're doing. I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Carmen?
Carmen, stuck on 285 on the way here?
Yes.
Oh.
Why is there traffic at what time is it? 8:30 in the middle. But yes, very good. I'm excited to see what y'all have to say today. I'm excited for days.
Also, dear podcast listeners, Carmen and I live very close to one another, so we come basically the same thing, but we insist on going different ways
Every time.
So, what does that say about our podcast? Anyway,
Well, let's start off. You, as always, you brought a themed wine, which you
Yeah.
tend to do.
I brought a Spanish Rioja in honor of the Spanish players from Miami who are no longer playing in the playoffs, like
Okay.
Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets.
Suck it.
Probably already on a plane back to go.
F 'em
sulk-
all.
Yeah,
Right? That's
Sulking
That's
back
the
in-
Atlanta United thing. F 'em all.
in
No.
Barcelona.
I'm down with it.
But yeah, it's delicious. That's really nice. What do you
So
think?
all
Carmen?
those players, when they were playing in Barcelona, as soon as the season ended, they would head to America and go to Miami. So now that they live in Miami, what do? Do they go back to Barcelona?
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
That's what I do. Why not?
Okay. Fair.
So we have a lot to talk about.
Mm.
Before we do that, let's say thank you to our sponsors, Wild Heaven Brewery.
Yes, and I gotta say, so we've been talking about for a very long time, the Toco Hills, Wild Heaven, and Fox Brothers opened. We went to the pre-opening.
Yes.
Thanks for the invite, Hayden, and all the Wild Heaven people.
How
and
was it?
Awesome.
Incredible.
Oh.
I-
So good.
I love Fox Brothers, and I only go like once a year because I usually eat too much. But I will. I don't know. I got the right amount of food when
it's a
Dave's
gorgeous day.
Dave's folks were there. Took both our kids, and
I have to say that
it's
may
great.
not have been the only time I've been there so far.
Oh, no. Like, I feel like
I may have
everybody's
been back.
there. Like, my brother, who never comes on this side of town,
Really?
sent me a text. He's like, Toco Hills is on the come up. I'm sitting here at Wild Heaven. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Yeah. Okay.
so
There you
so
go.
listeners, if you're wondering where this is in the Toco Hill Shopping Center, it's where what is it? Famous Pub used to be, but it's on the in the corner in there.
Mhm.
There is an amazing kind of open courtyard. There's two bars. I can't wait to see this place hopping on a big day. We got invited to kind of like the soft.
When I went
opening.
back, it was hopping.
Was it hopping? Yeah, I bet.
Mm.
Because I think Flying Biscuits right there on the corner.
Yep.
That's correct.
Yep.
And so I think that closes. And so there's plenty of seating.
Yep.
Even
That's
that you
only
can-
a morning place,
Yes.
and this is only a night place. So.
That's right.
Love it.
Balance.
right.
And
That's perfect harmony.
soccer
Carmen.
lovers, they got TVs there for soccer
right.
watching on the weekend. So, and I'll talk to
That's
Nick more about getting that theme going. He wants to kind of figure out how to get some.
They're gonna podcast there on Sunday for the
Yeah,
Atlanta
Hayden.
United game.
Hayden told us there's a little spot there for us. So
Yeah, he said that they Hayden said, I don't know if it's true, but he said they built the fireplace in the facility just for this podcast,
Okay.
so that we could sit in front of the fireplace like normal.
Nice.
There is an
Well
actual
done.
working fireplace in there.
Okay. So Atlanta. Oh, okay.
So
ATL
I
on
don't know
fire.
whether that's, I think he was just saying that to be nice to us.
yeah.
But I felt good.
I mean,
Felt important.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
All right. Also, thank you to Wolf Mountain Vineyards. If you guys haven't been, another great time of year to get up to North Georgia, visit a great vineyard up there.
If you're going on Friday, you'll see me.
Yeah,
Are you
That's
going
right.
this Friday?
Dave's
I'll be up there on Friday,
Oh, I didn't know this was
talking with
Friday.
Brandon, some winemaking. He and I are exchanging
collaboration.
a little collaboration. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Last time we podcasted, we talked about the first game where we actually live casted during the first Miami game down in Miami, where Miami kind of dominated the game, ended up winning 2-1.
Considering the outcome,
stuck in there.
Maybe we shouldn't do that anymore.
I know, right?
Did we jinx it?
Maybe,
Yeah.
but we do know one thing y'all did talk about for the first game was Mr. Guzan played very well.
Yes, man. He
like
was,
on his head, very well.
Stood on his head.
Yes.
continues.
Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
He's bald. He's a motherfucking wall.
He is big and bald. He's been a wall. Because hold on. I just want to say, like you and I we wanted to see more of Josh Cohen at the beginning of the season.
We did.
Well,
We
really,
did.
we wanted to see Guzan out.
Yeah, we did.
Because he was really old. And he still is.
He still is. But we have to give credit where credit's
Oh,
due. I mean,
gosh.
he was phenomenal the
Yes.
last 3 games.
That's player
Well,
of the
you
game.
know, it's interesting. Like, he's just ever so barely avoided disaster. I mean, one, like the punt block that we're going to talk about, that obviously not necessarily his fault, but any real goalie that doesn't happen to, like anybody who's not that old, I mean. And then second of all, there was one in the last game where he came out so late on a bad ball, and he was so lucky not to get called for a
I
penalty.
think Cobb. Oh no, the penalty. I was talking about the one Cobb cleared off the line.
Yeah.
too.
Oh, that
Okay.
one too. Yeah. So
There's been some
he has
moments.
made some amazing saves, including one of the most world-class saves I've seen in
Oh.
MLS ever. So this is what you get with Brad Guzan now, right? Which is still that old world-class goalkeeper who can stand on his head and make amazing saves, but also a little old and sometimes
a little step behind.
rickety. Yeah,
Now, can we just point out he's not old for this earth.
that's correct.
He is old for soccer.
Soccer.
Okay, just want to
Carmen,
put that out.
How
there.
old is he? Is he 40?
I think he's 40. Everyone
yeah.
says 40.
Yeah, he's
That's a
40.
great age.
I mean,
It's a
he's
great
darn near a
age.
decade younger than we are, but he is old. He is old. Okay, continue.
Continue. All right, so
Thanks for putting us in our place.
so Carmen, we played. Wow, it's 2 weeks now, right? That we played at home against Miami, coming off the loss, and it's so weird, right? This is like a 3-game format, right? And there's been a lot of. We'll talk maybe a little bit about the format of MLS playoffs,
Suck it, Jordy.
but it's just so weird, right? Like there was 7 days basically between
Yeah,
each
a week.
game.
A week.
Like, why is that? Like you could have packed. You could have done like a Saturday, like Friday game, Wednesday game, and a Saturday game.
I presume you were
Why?
going to tell us that that's Apple TV wanting to have all the playoff games.
Well,
on
who
the
cares,
weekend,
right?
bro.
As long as they're in there, right? Like as
You're
long
the media guy.
I don't
No,
know, man.
no.
Why?
Man.
As long as they're available, what does it matter what day that it's on? I don't know. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't. That makes no sense, right? Because whether it's a
Yeah.
Wednesday or
Because even how long are we waiting until our next game? We have
Sunday.
not
Sunday.
this Sunday, but
This
the
Sunday.
this Sunday,
Oh, it
yeah.
is this
It is
Sunday.
this
But I think it was-
But it's
Okay.
still a week.
still like
Okay.
Or over a week.
over
and
a
day.
week, a week and a
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
And is there an international break that coming up? What's going on with that? Right. So anyway, we can get to that.
Hold on. Are y'all sure it's this Sunday and not yet?
Thought it was.
I feel like it's a long time from
Carmen.
now.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, I'll trust y'all. But I was just like, I feel like it was like a lot further
This is
out
really
than
sad
I
that we
thought.
didn't-
It might be 10 days out. You're right.
But anyway,
It is.
continue.
It's like the 24th or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Don't worry. Keep going.
So yeah, roughly 10 days.
24th.
Yeah,
Isn't that? No, that is not this Sunday.
it's
that's
that's a long.
it's a hike.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because the international break. Okay.
Oh,
Thanks,
I forgot
Carmen.
about the internet. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
'Cause
Okay.
Yeah, U.S. just named their roster.
So, Dave, you did your famous steak during our tailgate.
Yeah, so I'll just again, this podcast is shaping up to be the insider story, right? Because so what I have to say to your podcast listeners, we have to own up to the fact that we are football snobs. So in our seats, Carmen and Mikey Dobbs and I and our season tickets, we've got this fancy booth with all free food. We're right at 50-yard line, right up, it's perfect, right? And because of that, sadly, we used to tailgate every single game.
Yeah.
And then we got the fancy seats. Well, we had
Yeah, which
fancy
has free
seats, but they
food, which
got
makes it hard
fancy
to
or whatever.
justify tailgating.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to justify drinking all that beer and eating all that delicious food in the parking lot before going into having free beer and food. So we've gotten lazy.
Yeah, but this was a playoff game. We doubled down.
Yeah, so Mikey
Mhm.
Dobbs writes me the day before, and he's like, "Are you throwing the typical tailgate?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I have to." Yeah, so so we had a tailgate right by the supporters tailgate. That was rocking
by the supporter section.
Yeah.
It was a good crowd. I would say I wanted to see the stadium fully packed. I would say, what do you think, Carmen? Like maybe 70%?
Yeah, I mean, we were in like the high
75%?
60,000s, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody was
No,
there.
I
That's
think-
the number.
I think
Yeah.
high
but
50s.
High 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in
but yeah.
reality, so the announced number was higher, of course, but I
Of
think in
course.
reality, I could give us that we were low 60s or maybe high 50s.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
In reality.
It's always hard to tell because so many people are walking around
Yeah.
in Mercedes-Benz. But even when the game was peaking, I actually made it a point to look, and there were a lot of open red seats. So.
Yeah. Leo was saying that they gave away like the really tippy top seats.
Yeah, they
like
offered it
right.
to the original founders. You could get one of those upper tickets for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or two.
So, what did you think of game 2, Dave? You want to quickly provide an overview of your overall impression of that
Well,
win?
there's a lot to talk about, right? The Miami goal. How crappy is that?
Yeah.
Right. So
That-
Brad Guzan grabs the ball and he goes to kick it out, and he was clearly interfered with.
Yes. And so I had to go back and look, right? So by interfered with, he is going to punt the ball, and a guy does a forward jump into his path and then kind of gets out of his way. But Brad goes to punt it, realizes if he swings through it, he's going to kick the guy's back of his leg. So he drops the ball and doesn't follow through with his leg kick to hurt himself and or the player. The ball bounces, they pass it, shoot it into basically empty goal.
And the referee
the
says
referee says-
interference foul, right?
Yeah, he
No.
said
The
no.
referee
No, did not happen.
says
Yeah, and the
play
VAR
on.
upstairs does nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, such MLS.
That is very
It's
MLS,
just-
and this is classic horrible refereeing, and I'll say that for a fact because it's letter of the law instead of spirit of the law.
It is letter of the law. I went and
Right.
looked up the rule.
So
It's like,
yes, he didn't make contact, so technically
You
that's
can't-
not a foul. But the spirit of the law is: did the guy do something to interfere and prevent the play? And the answer is absolutely yes.
100%.
So as a referee, you say, forget the letter of the law. I'm trying to keep the game fair. And the rule there is designed to keep the game fair. You can't interfere with the guy and prevent him from punting it. So it's just a no-brainer. That is clearly a foul.
Yeah. Period. The end. So anyone out there who disagrees, well, you're wrong. And I mean, I usually, I will point out and be devil's advocate all day long, even if it's against Atlanta United. But okay, so we start off the game with now the chips are really stacked against us, right?
Yeah.
So what happens?
Maybe
next?
Carmen, you can also. I want to show you can pull up
you can't
the
be
last
doing that.
goal because I do want to show something on the last goal, which we'll get to in a minute, but we can keep talking about it.
Yes, keep
So what do I say? So our goal, right? Amador to Williams, who stayed forward after a corner, right? And Amador puts in an absolutely perfect ball.
Yeah.
Williams has a perfect header, heads it back where it came from.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
And
that's
scores.
that's the diving header from Williams.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I mean, just perfect. But here, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go there. But so Amador is the classy version of Lennon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my take,
Yeah.
right? And here's the thing, right? So every time, Amador goes forward, Lennon goes forward, right? Amador serves beautiful balls with his left foot.
You might need to mute it, Carmen. By the way, just as a
Thank you.
Amador serves perfect balls with his left foot. Lennon serves perfect balls with his right foot. They're the same. They both have pretty good motors to get up and down. What's the difference? Do you know what the difference is, Mike?
Well,
why is Amador the classy version of Lennon?
Well, a couple things. He can certainly play defense better.
That's one. Right. He actually
A defender.
defends better.
He actually defends
His
better.
one-on-one defending is way better. Yeah.
a classier version. So
Yeah.
that's so defensively he's better, but also like going forward, I think he picks his moments better is more what I would think.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I'm going to say it in a little bit more nuanced way, which is, so the problem with Lennon all the time is he gets forward in an unsophisticated, unthoughtful way. He doesn't really time his runs. He just goes.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times he gets there too early. And so what happens is his crosses are very ineffective because even though they're beautiful crosses, a lot of times the play is sort of stopped up. And so nobody is running in rhythm and with the team. Okay. Yeah. The only time that Lennon tends to have crosses that really work for us, it's usually when we were on defense and he was actually defending deep in our corner. Yeah. So when he's coming forward, he's now naturally timed it because he was so far back defending. Yeah. And then he can run on.
And that was working for him earlier in the year when he had Yakimakis to cross it to. He had some better moments.
A little bit, yeah. But his crosses are way less effective than they should be. And he, the problem is he goes forward all the time and doesn't create a ton of goals and gives up space in behind us. Yeah. Okay. So now the difference, Carmen, is Amador is really, really smart about the timing of his run. So he doesn't go forward until it's really on. Okay. So he hangs out, which means two things. One, when we lose the ball, like he does, when we lose the ball,
there you go.
Are you ready for it?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Yet.
Sorry.
Not yet. We're not there yet.
Not there.
When we lose the ball, he's not caught forward and there's not space in behind him because he's just back first, right?
Yeah.
So if we give up the ball and never play him in, he doesn't get caught out. Okay, that's the first thing. And then the second thing, when he times the run, the ball is played out there. Everybody knows the cross is coming. And so he's put in, what is it, like 7-8 crosses, or maybe like 12 crosses, and it's led to like 7-8 goals.
Yeah.
Right. He has like 7 or 8 assists. He has already caught up to Lennon, and he crosses about
a fraction of the
time. A fourth of the number of crosses, or maybe a third of the number of crosses. And it's because of the timing. The timing. And we've been talking about it with Lennon for years. We're like, this is coachable at some level. Maybe it's also his head too. But at some level, you got to be on Lennon, like stop. Yeah. Stop running so early. Have patience. Yeah. Time the run, right? So he is the super classy. He has also, his left foot whipping it in is just as good or just as accurate as Lennon. Maybe it's even better, but they're very similar. Yeah. They both can really, really put a ball. And it's leading to goal after goal after goal. Every goal we're scoring is Amador.
I love it.
Right? So I'm a big fan of his, right? So
now it's 1-1.
Yeah, and I'm going to prove it now.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to prove it? So the last goal, right? So we were there. Mikey Dobbs described the last goal for us. What was the timing in the game and who scored it and how did he score?
Oh, help me with this one. Sorry.
It's Silva.
Yes.
Late in the game, extra time. Right? The super late goal, Silver from the top of the box, and he puts it up for 90, right? To send Mercedes-Benz into complete ecstasy.
Keep going, because I'm still, my head is so in the last game, you have a better memory.
Okay, so what I want to show you, can you go back to the beginning of the clip? Go back.
Go back.
Are we live? Are we live with this clip?
I think we are. Let's double check.
Oh, we are. Look at that.
Okay.
All right.
Here, you want me to control it? Oh, I don't have my.
Uh-oh. Okay. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So pause it. Okay. So first of all, it's just an aimless ball in the middle. We're going to play a beautiful combination. Okay. It's a beautiful combination here. And what you're going to
this is a beautiful
in the middle. Silva plays a nice combination. He gets it back to the top of the box and he finishes. Okay. What I am going to prove to you is why Amador is the classy Lennon. And you're like, what do you mean Amador? What are we effing talking about? It's Silva who scores the goal. Amador has nothing to do with it. When you watch on the play, when Silva gets the ball back, the right back of Miami is coming over to block the shot. And Amador appears in the picture on a late time run. And the defender looks over and says, I can't go over there. I'm about to give up the easy pass,
Right.
and he stays at home, and that's why we score.
So he Amador allows the center lane to be open.
Watch it. Watch
Okay.
Amador.
Okay,
Play the
here we
clip.
go.
Yeah. So a little heel, and then in the center, boom.
There's Amador out wide.
Oh, he did stutter step.
And look at the guy out wide. He cannot come inside. So go back.
We are making
Right before Silva shoots it. Right. Okay. I'm gonna tell you to hit pause. Okay. So we win the ball. Right. Marinchuk. Right. Beautiful 1-2. Stop
right
it.
here. Yeah.
So right now, what you're gonna see is the defender looks like he's gonna come over to block that, but he takes a peek and he's like, "Oh, Amador is making this perfectly timed run," and he never comes over to block it. So play it. Watch the defender. See how he pauses for a second? That stutter step, and that's why he doesn't block it. Because he saw Amador out there. That's why he scores.
Yeah. Half a second.
I mean, how many people see that?
All it takes is half a second.
That is all of everything in soccer. The guy who had nothing to do with that goal and who had everything to do with that goal. Because he doesn't get that shot off if Amador doesn't time that run perfectly.
This is stuff cats love.
I take credit for so many of those goals.
Yeah.
Where I'm doing work off the ball. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I hear
But
it.
it's rare you ever see it that clearly, where the defender is clearly coming over. He could have blocked that. And he stutters steps. I think it's Jordi Alba. He stutter steps a little bit, and then and it's too late.
Love it. Love it.
And that's how is the game end 2-1?
Yeah.
2-1. Oh, we went crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember. You were there.
That was, I forgot that was in the 90th minute. Oh my
It was
god.
in extra time.
Well, that's the problem when you tailgate and go. Yeah. So I've seen.
But we were getting ready, I think, for a PK shootout. I mean,
right. Everybody was thinking PK shootout.
And when that,
I know.
That was awesome.
I got really only one question about this game, which is if you're Rob Valentino, he brought on, maybe you could look it up, but he brought on Silva like late 87th minute. He scored like within a couple of minutes of coming on. How do you wait that late to bring him on?
Well, I guess it's hard to.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
But I would have brought him on a good 10 minutes earlier.
Right.
Give him more of a chance. He's coming off of injury, but it's not like playing 7 minutes as opposed to 17 minutes is a problem.
So at this point, I'm an Atlanta United fan who didn't think we were going to make it to the playoffs. We should not. We got an extra home game in Atlanta. I'm happy, right? Like we got to tailgate. We got to win. We got to win at home
against Messi.
Against Messi,
even though the turf rumor conspiracy, of course, which we always said was
and we have to say we were walking up the hill to Mercedes-Benz, and all of us except for me said that we were going to get killed in that game.
We did.
Yes. I have to say we've been so right about so much calling games. All for Atlanta United, all for the season, all in MLS, and we were so wrong. Right? I mean, I thought we were
so happy.
But I mean, Vegas was with us too. So, there's sometimes.
And to be fair, right? If you look at these games, the number of chances that either they missed or Brad Guzan stood on his head.
It's ridiculous.
Well, so I also just want to give credit to, at this point in the season, the Atlanta United players for the fortitude that they have.
Yep.
We're missing 2 designated players. We fired the coach. You got Rob Valentine. We're kind of getting by, but we've been even average the second half of the season. We finished 9th. We take our puncher's chance. It's pretty awesome that they've got the right attitude in the playoffs. And I don't know, what is that? Does that say anything to you about a guy like Marinchuk? I don't know. I feel like maybe he came over probably with some high expectations. Probably was pretty disappointed when
how are we 9th?
Everyone left.
When the first couple games, it had to been tough for a lot of these guys. The second half of the season. So, Marinchuk is also the real deal too. What do you think of that guy?
Marinchuk, is interesting because his ability to deliver a ball out of midfield, like pinpoint perfect, particularly with his left foot, is really, really good.
Okay.
I mean, it's really good. It's classy. Like he's not a guy who's going to carry your team on his shoulders, like a way in which, a Gigi will sometimes, or Thiago Almada, or even going back to like a Barco would sometimes just put the team on the shoulders, or even a Marcelino Moreno. He's not really looked like he's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs other players. And you would think if he's our like total designated player and we have nobody coming, I would be like good player, but probably not such a great use for him. He seems like, as much of a build-up player as he is a scorer. But
when we get designated players, he's going to be even more dangerous.
Yeah, what I was going to say is we have 2 and maybe even 3 designated players coming.
Ooh.
So, and they're going to undoubtedly be attacking players.
Right.
So if you, for example, give us back Gigi and Almada, or 2 of the equivalent players with Miranchuk, right? I mean, forget it. Saba is really good. Miranchuk,
I think they're going to change the rule maybe this year for 4 designated players because it's going to be called the Neymar Jr. rule. Because Miami wants Neymar, they're going to figure it out. Like, we're going to get another designated player too. So
I hope they get him. He'll never play. He's so injury prone.
Really?
I think
Good luck.
Even a Suarez version of Neymar Jr. is still a Suarez in MLS.
Well, Suarez is limping around, but he's on the field.
Yeah.
Neymar Jr. is a pouty and will go off the field. I mean, he's a terrific player when he's on the field, but he is not on the field that often.
All right. So who are we giving credit to for getting Miranchuk and Almador? We've talked very highly of both of them. Are we about to give Gareth some credit?
We don't really know.
Yeah.
Do we know? Is it?
At one point he did say, he was like, I think these 2 can get us to the playoffs. And at the time, we're like, just get us a
Miranchuk's all Boca. I mean, that's basically what Garth said. He said, we're finishing the deals. Boca was instrumental in that deal with Miranchuk, which is why he let him stay on as long as he did.
Okay.
That's how I understood it.
Okay.
So, I think Garth has been looking at spreadsheets. He hasn't been out there scouting.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that Lagerwey actually is truly scouting or picking players.
No, that's not
at all. Okay.
He agrees or disagrees with the final decision and the money.
One thing he said, which is interesting, we were criticizing the timing of Miranchuk. We're like, how do you sign Miranchuk as a designated player when you don't have a head coach? Because you have no idea whether he's going to fit. And he kept saying, and I still would stand by that, but what he kept saying is Miranchuk was flexible enough that he thought it didn't matter really who the coach was. He could help anybody.
Okay.
Which I think is
just truth to it, but
general manager BS speak. But
okay.
So, all right, like I said, we're happy. We've got a playoff win against Messi and the Supporter Shield winners who have had
all-time Supporter Shield winners,
one
the highest point total ever.
Highest point total. You got Lionel Messi and superstars everywhere. So we've got to go back onto their home turf. Game 3.
Yep.
One thing I will say is, again, while I thought there was no way we were going to win Game 3 with Lionel Messi, knowing what he's got in terms of his branding with MLS and what he wants to do in terms of achievements, we really at that point had we're playing with house money.
Oh yeah.
We're a scary team in terms of all the pressures in Miami at that point. We still had a huge hill to climb though. And so we go down there, Dave, and end up pulling this thing out.
I have to say, even though I thought we would still probably get killed, the one reason why I thought maybe we had the chance. So Miami, one of their big problems, they have so much attacking firepower.
They can't defend.
And they can't defend. And if they really allow people to get at them in the midfield, they really can't defend. And so Busquets was hurt, right? In both games.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And the other one is Bright, the other defensive midfielder for that team. So the 2 guys who anchor that team didn't play.
Yeah.
I mean, Busquets did eventually play in the last few minutes of this last game, but
he was injured.
But you got a non-factor in these 2 losses. So that actually gives you a chance.
Yeah. The other thing I really noticed in Game 3 is you could see the frustration building amongst the veterans that are the superstars and the younger, the chemistry was not there. The timing was all wrong. And you could just see it boiling.
He's big, he's strong, he's a motherfucking wall.
That was a lot of the frustration.
That was a lot of the frustration is Braguzan. I mean, are you kidding me with some of the saves that he made in that game?
In freaking sane.
The one that he went to his left and he pushed it.
Yeah, he pushed
Just-
it.
And he pushed it past Suarez. One thing you watch on that play, if you guys, I'm sure everybody's seen it, an amazing save. If not, go watch it. But the thing about that save, and here's why as old as he is, the reason why Suarez has scored a ton of goals in his career, just look where he's standing on that play.
Yeah,
he's always
waiting, and he's expecting if he makes that save, it's coming right to me. Right. And he was there, and it was just a miracle that it went by.
He was just wrong footed for like half a second.
Yeah. Well, Guzan just somehow sneaked it by.
Yeah.
But that's a real player.
All
Even at his age. If you're a kid out there learning to play, you've got to be able to score these amazing goals like Messi or whatever, but you also need to score the lousy, dirty rebound tap in that Suarez has made a career of, right? Otherwise, you will never be a great scorer.
So they score first, right?
That is correct.
Do you recall how far into the game it was?
17th minute.
17th minute.
So notes on that.
They end up scoring though first.
Yeah, Messi has the ball. He plays it forward.
Oh, that's right.
He drifts late, right? So if there is a player, Carmen,
yes, sir,
on Miami that you might want to mark in the box.
You mean just maybe?
Just maybe.
Just maybe.
Who would you pick?
I'm gonna go with Messi, maybe.
Yeah. So Messi just jogs sort of into the penalty area, and Muyumba never follows him and allows him to be at the penalty spot. Are we going to show it?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
That frustrated me so much.
He's wide open at the penalty spot. Now Guzan stands on his head and saves the original one.
He does. Look at a great save because it is pretty short distance from the PK spot.
So can you go back to as far back in that play as it'll allow?
Let's see.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, that's fine. Just hit play.
We'll just run it.
Right. So Muyumba's right there. Look, he's right next to Messi right there as they wing. And now Messi's just drifting in the box. Look at Muyumba jogging behind him. You think that he can't stay with Messi?
Yeah. 37 versus what's Muyumba, 27?
Yeah, that's why you're Muyumba.
Yeah.
That's why you're Muyumba. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
It is.
Yeah,
you gotta get back.
A big problem. Now, one thing I will say, credit to Valentino, super credit to Valentino. And we were right on this. We've been saying that to Pineda, we're like, at key moments when you're playing up against it on the road, why wouldn't you put all the defensive midfielders in there at the same time? And Valentino's been willing to do it, right? He played Messi. He played Muyumba. He played Sleaze, and he played Dax McCarty, all three together in all this series. Yeah. Actually, the one game he didn't play Muyumba, but he played Fortune.
We talked about that over and over in these games where on the road, you got to be.
Pineda would never do it. Never. He refused. It was like anathema to him. Like he was just like, I cannot, I have to have,
Okay, now you're using big words, but continue.
What was that word?
big word. Anathema, what?
Anathema, yeah.
Molecular biologist talk right there. All
right. Okay. And then in the 20th minute, we come roaring back. There's a wicked deflection. Dax McCarthy tries to play a ball. It takes a wicked deflection and falls to Tiare. To his credit, he does two things that we haven't really seen from Tiare all year, is he takes it first time and he goes near post.
Rips it upper 90 near post.
Yeah, took advantage of it, and what a beautiful finish.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Look at that.
My bad. Sorry. We're not live yet.
You're doing great. Let's take a look at this.
Okay.
Right, so he plays Dax McCarty wide open. He goes to play it forward. That's a wicked deflection that beats both of the center backs.
But he put his laces through.
Yeah.
And can I say though, Drake or Calendar, I mean, that's part of Miami's problem.
No,
he's not that great.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with Drake Calendar.
He's not great.
You gotta save that.
What?
I don't know.
That's hit pretty hard, man.
It's not great goalkeeping. I think the bald guy would have saved it. Just saying.
No,
I don't doubt you.
Right. It wasn't that bad. It was a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. 1-1.
Yep.
1-1. And then 90 seconds later?
Yep. 21st minute. Right, next minute, Miami is trying to build out of the back. They turn it over. Dax plays a lovely through ball. So we won the ball up the field.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember, Carmen, we talked about why would you play 3 defensive midfielders on the road? Because you don't really need to do anything except for turn the ball over up the field and give it to Almada and Gigi and Saba and Silva, and they'll score.
Right. And we still don't have that level of talent, but now we're doing it.
Now we're doing
lesser talent. And
I mean, Almada's got to be pulling his hair out. Like what? Really? We couldn't be doing that the whole freaking time, right? Thanks, Pineda. Right. But anyway, what I want you to see on this, and maybe go back slightly. So on this beautiful through ball from Dax McCarty, and Miranchuk
that little
shows his super class. It's a really super nice little touch. So Dax McCarty,
outside of his left foot here, just a little.
Ooh.
Boom. Yeah, and
great finish.
Good on
from
Tiare. Like that isn't. I mean, he got to finish that, but he finished it. You know what I mean? And it was a nice one. So
yeah. Now, this is probably going to be in the highlight package.
Nope. What are we doing?
24th minute. right after this, like 3 minutes later, there's a through ball, and Hernandez, oh my God, does he look bad on this play. He tries to go over, you know how those guys do that with their right foot across with their left foot and then turns them sideways? And he mistraps the ball, right across his body, and then like basically miffs and falls, and the guy runs into goal.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. So show it.
Here we go.
We're getting there.
And I mean, again, this is the miracle that is. And so for those people, anyway, we'll get to it in a minute.
The Venezuelan international.
Oh, that is horrible, right? And they score, but he's offside.
But I can't lie. Who here? I'm just asking. Who here thought that because they wanted Miami to win so bad, they were somehow going to figure out a way for that guy to be onside? Yeah. I just figured they were going to be like, "Oh, it came off a defender who intentionally played it."
They tried everything else.
All of that.
Yeah, but he's pretty clearly offside there.
Yes, he's offside. But look at that. Look at that defending.
That was not
that
good.
Is awful.
It's almost
not good. Is like
it's almost a pass backward off his own hand, but we got away with it. We got away with it. All right. So 1-1 still, right?
No, we're up. I thought.
Up 2-1 still at this point.
Yep.
You want to show it just for the lag of it? 51st minute, greatest save in Atlanta United history.
That was a beauty.
51st minute.
Is this it right here?
Probably,
yeah. There it is.
You're making me work today.
Messi cross headed. Messi cross this. Why would you want to give him a cross? But
that is so nice. Show it from the back angle. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you pause it?
Replay this.
Yeah. Let's see. They go again.
Here it is.
Can you pause it? Ready? Pause. Look at Suarez.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that. A younger Suarez is
Suarez
he finishes that.
Such a.
So this is a ball. I mean, again, if you're a youth soccer player, watch this. So it's a ball that goes clearly over Suarez's head. He was trying to run onto it, right? So most players would just turn and watch the guy and see if he scores. Not Suarez. He always pivots, right? You see him go to goal there?
Yeah.
Right? He turns and goes to goal because he's like, he's going to drop it right to me.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it literally just couldn't get his feet quite right.
A more nimble Suarez would have done a karate chop. There's a lot of times
save, though. My God.
Yeah.
That's a beauty.
But yeah, I mean,
that's
come on.
a beauty.
Come on.
And now it goes to show you about how poor our defense is, right? 65th minute, smallest player on the field, right? Heads it into our goal. Messi off the head.
I'm so outraged at all this whole thing.
Yeah. So Messi's in between the towers. You would think we would win this head ball, right? You'd think Williams could beat Messi on a head ball, but no, he can't. No, it's not.
I mean, well, how many?
It's Gregerson.
Campana just two-handed shove. Suarez in his face. Referee, by the way, is right there.
Right there.
Yeah. So he watches him. He watches him shove him, and then Suarez, I think, gives him the finger. I think.
And then allows another player come into his own goal.
He's certainly shouting horrible things at him.
Yeah.
Standing over him.
What excuse does that referee have for not giving yellow to Campana on the shove? I mean,
nothing.
0. He's literally right here. He's looking right at him.
Yeah.
How dare you push
And then
He's big.
He's bald.
He's a motherfucking wall. Brackers on.
Brackers
How
on.
dare you?
He's big. He's bald.
Sorry, I gotta play it
He's a
again.
motherfucking wall. Brackers on.
But he did have the last laugh.
Yes, he did.
yeah, so
That's
76th minute,
Oh my goodness.
we're on the attack, right? Miami's player decides to sit down in the box.
By the way, when they were down, right, they let who was down for us for like it seemed like a minute and a half, and they
TRA.
just kept playing.
TRA.
So I kept screaming at the screen, "Do not kick
this-
this ball out."
This made me so happy.
me right.
This I mean, this guy, and you guys have been with me in the stands when I say inappropriate things. This is a classic example of get up and play, and there's no reason not to play until the whistle. There's no head injury. This guy is totally fine. This isn't an Erickson situation where anybody's life's being threatened.
Absolutely.
You want to hear something really bad, though? So in the press conference, Valentino admitted that he was shouting to Atlanta to kick the ball out.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for him for being honest, because if I was shouting, I would not have said
I
that.
would never admit to that.
No.
No. And Tata Martino said earlier, he's like, that's what we would have done.
Yeah, that's
And-
bullshit.
We literally saw them not do it.
And by the way, like it's hilarious. Like, I mean, I am so for playing, especially in the offensive part of the field when no one's critically injured here.
No. He was not hit. There was no
no
head.
head,
There was
he
no
just-
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Just decided.
maybe
to
he pulled a
He's
hammy.
just down.
That's just part of having an advantage during a game, you know.
And
It
he didn't
is.
even pull a hammy because he got up and kept playing.
Whatever.
And
Oh, yeah.
after that, it wasn't even a hammy.
And by the way, like Messi chipping that guy, which was amazing.
Yeah. With the guy down.
Yeah, with a guy down in the same position, almost only like 5.
But you
feet
see
from-
Amador there, right? Again,
Awesome.
right?
That
So-
felt so good.
So
from
can you
Bartos
go back
Sleeves.
for a
Right.
second? So again, I want to point this out, right? Why is Amador? So look at this cross, right?
Okay.
So there's a cross from the right side, right? It's Hernandez, and there's no Amador in the picture, right? And now he's coming forward. So everybody knows the timing of this cross,
Yeah.
right? Because he wasn't standing there, right? And you can see Sleeves. So go back again. I want you to watch.
I want to watch. Hold on. Before that, let's look at the face of grown men realizing that they should have played to the whistle.
Yeah.
That right there is a face
Calendar.
of then like, yeah, all no, but then they all like none of them really complain.
I mean, what could they
No.
do? They kind of put their arms up.
Yeah,
and
because
like,
they
Right.
know.
Yeah.
They all know.
They know.
The reaction of the Miami player says it all that they should have played to the whistle.
So I want you to go back again, and I'm going to really challenge you because I'm going to probably hit pause a couple
Let's see,
times.
where am I?
Now go even further
keep
back.
going further back.
Yeah. Okay,
I love
that's fine.
watching the player who's
Sorry,
on the ground
I'm just
look up like,
this
oh,
okay.
is
Here
this-
infuriates me.
Pause it. Pause it.
Ah!
Okay. So Sleeves is right there. He's playing the give and go, right?
Mhm.
And what I want you to watch. So first of all, so Amador is in this picture. Do you see where Amador
Yeah,
is?
bottom right.
He's
of the-
very in the bottom corner, right? So that's what I mean. He's the classy Lennon because Lennon would have been all the way up there
Mhm.
standing, waiting, right? And he's not because what he's doing, he's like, look,
he's defending.
he's yeah, well, he's like Hernandez is up. So if
Uh-huh.
we lose the ball, I need to be back.
And I
Right.
think what's his name is like right here, right?
And I can still go forward if they need me, if they recycle the ball, and now I'll be actually in rhythm and I'm going to time it. But what I really want you to watch, Carmen, right? Watch Sleaze, right? As he does this. So I'm going to tell you to pause again, hit play.
Okay.
So he plays, Sleaze plays us a nice through ball. Okay, pause. Right. So you can't really see Sleaze, but he never moves. He's like 10 yards outside the 18. Okay, hit play again. Let's see if he comes back into the picture and pause. Okay. So there's no Sleaze in the picture, right?
Outside of the 18.
He's outside the 18. He's still standing 3-4 steps behind him. And he comes flying up. You know why? Because he knew 100% exactly when Amador was going to serve this ball because it was totally in rhythm. So all those guys are caught up there. And watch Sleaze now. Hit play and pause again. Play, pause. There it is. Right? He's already taken off. You could see he was already in movement before he kicked the ball because he knew exactly the timing because Amador had the wherewithal to stay back and be moving into it in rhythm, and that's why you score. So all these coaches who are coaching crosses, you need to coach timing of the cross, making sure the players are not getting ahead to whatever, hitting it in rhythm, and so that the other players know and can time it.
Yeah. And by the way, like how many Miami people were in the box there too?
Yeah.
They're all just waiting for.
And credit Sleeves for doing that because he didn't have to go forward or whatever, but he knew exactly that cross was coming. He could time it the whole way, right?
And there we go.
Absolutely brilliant.
Lovely. Oh, I lost my absolute ish when they scored.
Yeah. All right. So then the pressure, of course, came on the rest of the game. We hang in there.
Well, there really wasn't much.
Yeah, there was another fantastic Bragduzan save before the end of this game.
Yep.
Point blank, like he.
It was on Suarez, and he just kicked it into his chest.
Oh, okay.
So
and Cobb had one off the line. They brought in Noah Cobb at some point.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yes. Cobb comes on. Guzan flaps at a ball. He heads it past Guzan, and Cobb is there to clear it off the line.
So yay, young man! Yay, young man!
Yeah, got his chance and made it happen.
Yes.
So again, if you want to go for those who are now like, oh, Valentino, right? So Orlando, okay, where we had the playoffs, locked at the very end of that game. We could not stop Orlando from coming forward and getting cross after cross after cross, right? They score. We get the miracle VAR shady handball.
Right.
That is the only reason we're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay. Montreal, we're up 1-0. Do we hold them? No. We get a terrible penalty kick because they were just forward all the time. Right. So that sends us to penalty kicks. We barely get through. Here, even after we go 3-2, it's cleared off the line by Cobb. Right. I mean,
yeah.
That's a lot of luck. So
I'll take it.
I'm going to talk about Valentino overall. But before we do that, there's been a big question, right? So we are clearly Miami's bogey team, right?
Yeah.
Even Pineda beat Miami, right? So Messi lost 3 times, right? All 3 to Atlanta United. Right, this I think is the only 3 games that he started and played the whole game that they lost. They were all 3 to Atlanta United
because we tied 1 against them as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Wednesday night tie.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So what gives?
Yeah. Why are we there, Bogey?
Why?
I
know the answer.
I literally asked you the question. I think when we were in the stadium, I'm like, how is it that we lose to pretty much everybody, it seems like this year.
I think you mentioned it during the Wednesday game where we ended up coming back and tied, which you said that was a terrible soccer game. That was not.
You mean the Montreal game you're talking about?
No, it was the Miami game where we came back. It was very exciting, right?
The regular season.
And everyone was like, it was awesome, right? Because I was there and I was like high-fiving. And
Messi came in like within the 20 minutes.
Super wide oopen.
That was the Marinchuk left footer that ties the game, right?
Yeah.
And Dave's comment was that was shambolic soccer.
That's true.
Wasn't the best
from both teams.
It was wide open.
So the reason I'm bringing that up though is because your point in that was, that Tata kind of just gave up on defending at all. And I'm wondering if you kind of have the same perception here that even though they've got all this offense, right? That without a doubt they're going to be able to put pressure on us.
Well, that's their Achilles, right?
Tata didn't do a great job of coaching this team in that game.
He's never been a good defensive coach.
Yeah.
And he didn't, what you have to do. I mean, honestly, this team is not the best for him to coach, except for that he's good at managing and having good spacing offensively. But ultimately, really, with the kind of firepower he has, all you have to do is get the defense really, really organized.
Right.
Kind of like what we've been saying about Atlanta United when we had all the best players, right? If you really just organize the defense, Almada and Gigi and company will all score, and that's all you need. And that's kind of Miami, and he never really did that. But that's not why but that's true against all teams. Okay. right? So then you're like, well, why is Atlanta United the bogey team? So that is true. That is their weakness. And the way you beat Miami is you score against them. You're never going to beat them 1-0 because they're going to score, right? So you got to score, in our case, 2 goals and then 3 goals, right? Which is what we did to beat them. You got to score, right? So you got to punch them in the face kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that is true. But why are we the bogey team for Miami?
I mean, I can try to remember what you told me, but I'll let you.
Well, the bogey. Why we're the bogey team is we're playing like we have nothing to lose in a lot of these games, and I think people.
But that's not true in the regular season when we were the bogey team too.
It kind of was because
maybe
in that one we didn't have anything to lose either. I mean,
we had a lot of games where we didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And we did lose, so I don't know.
It was Saba
That's
time.
stretching it.
It was Saba time.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your theory, Dave?
Carmen, you want to weigh in now?
Well, I can't remember exactly what you said, but I feel like it's because they don't play those wide people that you can just have that outlet when we're like pinched in so much. They are more down the middle, and that's where we are. So
everything for Miami is down the middle. It all runs through Messi. Then he's not fast enough or quick enough to go out wide anymore. They don't have any width. There was one width player on Miami. That's Jordi Alba. He's a one-man width. And if you notice in that first game, he killed us. He scored, and assisted, and he just destroyed us. Yeah. And so that's their one moment. The one width guy is Jordi Alba. He kind of disappeared. He looked like he got a little tired, more tired. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Miami is a straight down the middle team. So if there's one time, Pineda, if you're listening, if there's one team that your awesome, crazy system is designed for, everybody pinching in and making sure you don't get beat up the middle and trouble and triple teaming in the middle and clogging the middle and whatever.
Yeah, but don't you think it's more because we had our three defensive players
that really helped in this for sure? So if you have which Valentino has not corrected, he still has a lot of pinching in, and we concede the wide spaces.
Yeah, we let people march in a little.
Yeah,
too much.
And we get open for crosses. Like if you saw the goal that they scored, right? Messi crossing it. Right? No, not the goal they scored. The one where Guzan made the phenomenal save. Right? Messi's out wide finally, and he's absolutely wide open to cross. That's how you kill us.
Yeah.
We give up cross after cross after cross. Now, Montreal, straight up the middle. Okay. After we scored in that game, their coach finally went to 2 wingers. And the last 30 minutes, they annihilated us with that. It was wide open up the middle. And you're like, why didn't you start that way? But and you can say this about Tata. Like, why did he do that? Now, I think if you're Tata, you're like, look, I know we're playing right into their strength, but we're better than they are. We're just going to beat them anyway.
Yeah. Usually, yes, on that one.
Yeah. But if I were Tata, what I probably would have done, and I don't know their squad quite that well, is try to play as much of the wide guys. And the guy that the speedy guy out wide who wasn't available the whole time, Taylor.
Yeah.
Right. That also hurt them because he kills us. Out wide, we have no answer for him because we got pinched in and he just kills us. Yep. Right. And that's what Messi uses typically. He uses that outside and then it all opens up and then he's running in the middle and they score against us. But so Miami is classically their tactics suit us perfectly. Right. And they're the only ones that do it because we just leave people wide open.
So Atlanta's moving on to what is essentially the quarterfinals, would you say, against Orlando?
Correct.
And that's a 1-game series.
Everything's won at the higher seed.
And that is the 24th, like a week and a half from now.
Correct. So we're playing Orlando. And then, we should talk about it. Our side of the draw. So the 3 best teams, in my opinion, in all of MLS were Miami, Columbus, and Cincinnati.
Gonzo.
All gone. And so certainly on the eastern side, those are the best teams. The best 2 teams on the west side are LA and LA. They're still alive.
Both are still alive.
And they're going to play probably for the winner of LA, El Tráfico, probably in the semifinals is going to get to play in the final. So that's going to be epic.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
But the east side, there's nobody good left.
Open.
Right? Orlando is the only higher seed that's still alive.
Yeah.
And they're not great.
They just barely got
there. They're not a great team. But New York City and New York City are not good. I mean, there's 4 teams left, 2 LAs and two New Yorks.
So this playoff format is opposite of like a baseball where it goes like 1 game, 3 game, 5 game, 7 game.
Right.
And we went 1 game, 3 game, 1-1-1-1-1. Right. So what do you think the logic is? Is that just a package in for Apple TV, a 3-game playoff? Or is it like, well, the first seed, they play Atlanta, and for whatever reason there's a fluke game and they lose against Atlanta. We're going to give them 2 more games to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's to try to make sure the top seeds don't get eliminated early. Ironically,
that's
because at home, the MLS, the home team wins so much, right? So if you play 2 games at home, you figure you're going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it used to be the way they had it was the classic Champions League format, home and home, right? And it's just scored, right? The problem with that is now you make the regular season even more meaningless, because MLS, the regular season is meaningless because everybody makes the playoffs, but you make it even more meaningless if you don't even get a home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they had to get rid of that. So then they went to just a single game, and then the problem with that is they don't have enough games, and you don't get a for these other, owners, they want a home playoff game. So you say, okay, the compromise, probably the driving it was, the lower teams be like, we want a home playoff game. They're like, okay, well, make sure the top seed advances by going best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
That way the lower seed gets a home playoff game. So nobody appears really in the playoffs without getting a home game.
That's just good.
That's revenue for the owners. Probably.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to guess it's revenue for the owners that's driving the whole thing.
So we've got to go on the road to Orlando. What do you think?
Orlando's got the better coach. The teams are not actually that separated because Orlando's not that good.
Yeah.
We've got, as we showed on the decision day when we went down there. And
we have a lot of momentum, but have we exhausted our hype? Are we going to be able to come down from all the hype and rebuild the energy to go on the road and build?
I think we might got one more win in us, but all these people are like, oh, we might be the best team in the East. That's not true anymore. Like, we're not getting through the East still. We're still not a good team. Like, that hasn't changed, and we've had a lot of luck, people.
There's a lot of luck. Come on, positivity.
Well,
we're on the upswing, guys.
That's the problem. Is like Brad Guzan can't keep saving the defensive woes of this team.
No.
That's the reality.
No.
It is.
Now, to be fair, I mean, Valentino has done an amazing job, right, of maximizing the squad. One thing that Valentino has done is he really gets talent. And so he's done a couple things. Like, for example, the time where he moved Hernandez behind Lennon and Lennon goes forward. Brilliant idea. We've been calling for that for a long time. Playing all 3 defensive midfielders, just maximizing the chances of the team. Also brilliant. We'd have to do that. Now, watch him go in Orlando and not do it. Right. but I can't imagine that he will do that. And that maximizes, because our midfield, Sleaze is a really good player. Right. Dax McCarty, even for his age, is still a really good player. And the 2 of them playing together are really smart. They close down the middle. Now, the problem is Orlando does play out wide.
That is.
And they're going to get a lot of crosses. And that Orlando game, they had a bunch of crosses. They should have scored. It's just a luck of, can we hold on and not give up? I'm going to guess that we give up 2 cross goals and we're out.
Point. Was that the game where we left everyone open on the back post and we're like,
twice. Yeah, and they got crosses.
Yeah.
I mean, we gave up the penalty kick because in the last, 15 minutes after we had the lead, right, we couldn't come close. He brought on defender after defender. We were playing with like 5 defenders and still leaving players wide open for the cross. When Lennon gave up the penalty kick on that, right, we had 5 defenders on the field all the way back, and still the guy had all day to cross.
Yep.
So if you want to talk about pinch in city, if 5 defenders, you would think someone would go out and address the player and block the cross, right? No.
So at the beginning of this season, as you guys know, I predicted Miami was going to go all the way, and Dave had the rest of the field. Yes. And if I'm going to go out with the rest of the field, and have Atlanta beat Miami. That's best case scenario for me.
Best case.
So
you in there.
I'm
To be fair,
I'm losing, but I'm winning.
I would have said it was going to be either Columbus or Cincinnati
And-
that was going to eliminate.
And you
them.
were wrong as
I
well.
was wrong as well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna own up to
Is
it.
this all wash? Is what I'm getting at, or I still owe people wiring?
I'm
No, you
thinking
still-
you definitely still owe
I
wine,
had-
friends.
I had to try it.
weasel out of that.
So I think we went to what, 2 bottles? I think it was 1, and now we're at 2.
I think I did.
And we were at the game, and he was like, he wanted to like quadruple it. I'm like, don't do it, Mikey Dodge. You're already gonna owe me 2 bottles. And he's like, but surely it's gonna be at least 2 bottles you're gonna owe me. And I'm like, or you're gonna give me 2 bottles.
I'm sorry. There might
Here
be
we are.
nothing better than Mikey Dobbs and a stupid bet. I feel like it's just like peanut butter jelly, just
Mhm.
like goes well.
All right.
I love the underdog bet too, which is, by the way, statistically not the one to take.
All right. So now I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to give my take. But the first question is: so now people are saying Valentino, the God, he should be the coach. Yes or no?
I'll give you mine first. I say he should coach somewhere, just not at Atlanta
Okay.
United. I feel like we need a coach that people are going to want to come and play for, and that's not him yet. It's on you, Mikey Dubs. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you nailed it. I think like he's earned himself a chance to be a head coach somewhere. I would prefer that Atlanta United, with the money and the finances that we have, get something that is truly special. We've been talking about that for the last year. And Rob Valentino seems to be progressing in his coaching. And like you said, Dave has made some good choices that we didn't see from Pineda. So I would love to see him successful somewhere else, but not at Atlanta. I don't believe that he's going to be able to take this club to the next level and get us back to MLS Cup. I don't want to be caught in 6th place in the Eastern Conference, even 4th or 3rd place. I want to be 1st or 2nd, Supporter Shield competitive when we bring in the 2 designated players. And I don't think he's got the tactical capabilities given what we saw in the latter half of the season, with teams just too easily coming into our half of the field and not putting pressure on them. There just wasn't things that were optimistic in terms of him fixing those things, with his time.
You know what the first thing Rob Valentino said in the press conference after this epic win over?
He said, "I told them they should have kicked the ball out."
No,
okay.
that wasn't the first thing. He did say that, but that wasn't the first thing.
Shut up, Rob.
Okay, here it is. You ready? Some people will try to make me out as some type of tactical genius, but I'm not. Really, I'm not.
Well, you don't want to say that. And
why?
Yeah,
Why did you say that? I mean, I know it's because he's
But
deadly
why
honest.
not? I mean, that
Really
means you're
honest.
doing something right. It might not be the
But wait,
the tactics.
Tactically, he was definitely correct in.
Yeah, his tactics are way better than Pineda.
Way
so
better-
he should give himself more credit.
Right.
He's a way better coach than Pineda. Way better. And he really, I agree with you, deserves a chance, right? Yeah. Like, do I think, based on what I've seen, that he is going to be the kind of coach that, is going to get us contending all the time? No. I mean, one thing that we said, people were like, oh, you can't hire Bruce Arena. Did Bruce Arena get hired? Yes. San Jose, he's back in the league.
I did not.
If you had hired Bruce Arena, he's only going to coach for 4 or 5 years, right? You'd guarantee at least 2 runs at the MLS Cup for sure.
Okay. So Elliot is back, guys.
Hey,
I know. Hey, Elliot. So if Rob goes to the finals, do we have to? I mean, does that make him our coach? Like almost by default.
I'm sure it will make him our coach. Should it? I don't know.
I think it will, and it's hard to argue against that if he actually gets us there. To be fair, it is hard to argue against that. But I think, if I'm being honest with myself, I think that we again should find a sure thing.
All right, you want to hear my take on Valentino?
Please.
Yeah. Is this your rant that you were talking about? That's a rant, but not a rant.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What's the good thing about Valentino? His man management, right? The players are clearly much, much more positive under him than Pineda, right?
100%.
You couldn't possibly imagine us continually coming back after conceding the first goal under Pineda, right? That is clearly an attitude adjustment that you have to give Valentino 100% credit for, right?
Yes.
Incredible. Also, the freedom which they play going forward is much, much better, much more fluid, no more bubble hockey, right?
Yep.
So Saba wants to come across, sure. Miranchuk drifting around where, sure, right? Pineda had them like, this is what you will do. You will be in my,
Bubble
you got my
hockey.
reference to bubble hockey?
Yeah,
Yes.
we talked about that many times. You're 100% with. Yeah, Pineda wanted to be so tactical. He put everybody in their own little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Also, understanding our talent and using formations that take advantage of it, right? Lennon in front of Hernandez. Yes. Right? 3 defensive midfielders playing at the same time. Yes. Those things would never have happened under Pineda. So these are all really good. Plus,
Okay.
he stopped the crazy tactics. No more airplanes, right? No more center midfielders covering covering in behind the outside backs.
So how much is the airplanes thing just Amador being
Not Lennon.
aware and Lennon
Not
airplaning
Wiley.
all the time?
Well, I don't know, but clearly Pineda had them automatically
Yeah.
doing it no matter what. I think he would have had Amador. He would have ruined Amador. He would be like, "Why aren't you going? Why aren't you going?" Amador's like,
He wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have been on the field.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But what I would have said is like Amador would be like, wait a second, coach. I can still get there. I'm timing it. No, go forward. You will never get there. Like, come on. Like, no, he doesn't get it. Okay. Defensively, we are still really, really woeful. We let teams get up the field far too easy.
Mhm.
This is why we continue to take the lead, and we have really no hope of maintaining it. Right? It's just a question of whether the final whistle will go or whether or not we, right? It should have knocked us out against Orlando on decision day. It should have knocked us out against Montreal in the playing game. And we still are leaving acres and acres out wide. I mean, the example of this, as I said, when we brought on all these extra defenders in Montreal and they still had a wide open cross at the end of the game. Yikes. Jordi Alba single-handedly in the first playoff game being the one guy running out wide and just killed us. We had no answer for it again, right? So, and in the Montreal game, corner kicks, right? There were three consecutive corner kicks where our weak side outside back came in to try to challenge for the ball. And if the ball flicks over at all, there's a guy standing wide open.
Yeah.
So he's done nothing to address that. And those are kinds of things over a whole season, right? That matters, right?
Yeah.
You can get lucky. You can still be around in the playoff, right?
Yeah, especially on things like corner kicks where it's just a matter of identifying that and just never letting a guy.
Nobody is matching up in the box. And the way you know this, right? Twice wide open in the box on both goals was Messi. If there was ever going to be if he ever had a way of closing down players in the box, you would think Messi would be marked. You could say, all right, we triple team Messi and somebody else got free, right? But there's no way that you would leave Messi, available, right? So, so conceding goals and just finding a way to overcome that is really not a recipe for success. And if you want to know why, just ask Miami, right? That's exactly what Tata did. And as good as they are, they're way better offensively than us. But when you score and you don't really close people down, and you're vulnerable, right? And you're going to get knocked out, right? And that's what happens, right? So credit to Valentino for helping to manufacture all this luck or whatever. But I really worry long-term tactically. Is he really that kind of genius? I think he could become even better. I think he's actually way tactically better than he gives himself credit for. He's way better than Pineda. Because Pineda was this tactical genius, but Pineda overthought it. The tactics never matched the players.
Thank you for the song. Thank you, AI. Time's running out.
Yeah. That's my take.
So we clearly have some candidates, you would think, that are in.
Well, it's basically already a done deal.
Holding pattern. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's saying Vieira is going to be the guy.
It's going to be Vieira.
Oh, is that what
we're saying?
I haven't been keeping up with the
I
trades.
haven't heard anything.
Still Vieira.
Really?
Felipe Cardenas is really, plugged in. Keeps saying Vieira.
Since we last saw, he's even affirmed it again.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And a lot of people are thinking Valentino is going to get the thing. The quotes, from Lagerwey are not really supportive of that. Mm-hmm. Like they don't suggest. He kind of said we don't really have the coach, we don't really have the team. Some people are saying Jim Curtin because he just got fired from
That's what Elliot just said.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Jim Curtin has this really weird technical system. It's very rigid. It's going to remind you a little bit of Pineda because the players don't have a lot of freedom. Works really, really well for the kind of team they have had, which is all these young players. Because you can take these young players and they'll do exactly what you're doing. But as soon as you have an Almada or you have a Messi, guys, you just have to.
We need superstar.
We're going to have. Yeah. We're not going to have 23-year-old guys who we have to outplay people. We're going to have better players than people.
Yeah.
So if that's true, you got to design a system like Tata did with Almada, where he was always with Almiron, where he was always wide open, right, and running with the ball, right. So the other thing about Jim Curtin that I will say, and I've been trying to do this statistically, and I can't figure out a way to do it. So if you're out there and you can do it for us, that would be awesome. But he is being completely bailed out by Andre Blake. Anytime Andre Blake goes down, the team goes in the shitter.
Yeah.
Right. Every time. So because they actually have this all, boom or bust kind of team, and they give up a lot of chances as they kind of score goals, and Andre Blake bails them out time and time again. We don't have Andre Blake.
Yeah.
Right. If he were to be the coach of this team this year or next year and Guzan is in the goal, forget it.
So what do you think?
Because they give up a lot of times where a guy runs in free on Andre.
So at this point, it seems also pretty clear Guzan is going to get the starting job next year as well.
It seems like it. And here's the thing, right? So if you look at our team, right? So what's the strength and weakness of our team?
Well,
even right now, before the new designated players, what's the strength of our team? What would you say is the strength of our team, and what's the weakness of our team? I think it's pretty clear.
I think it's the collective at the moment.
Yeah, the collective, but that's what's getting us in the playoffs. But in terms of where on the field, what do we do well? What do we don't do
I'm going to have to say, I don't know if I have to pick Gregerson and Sleece in the defensive part, probably that part of the field, but probably more Saba, Marinchuk, and Silva.
Yeah, I would say middle to forward is much stronger than the back.
Yeah.
I mean, Williams is suspect. Right. I think Amador is really good, but if Lennon continues to be the right back defensively, he's suspect. Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not like it's that drastic, though.
No, yeah, you got a good point.
Marinchuk, Saba, and Silva are certainly exciting players.
But here's the thing. Here's my problem, right? So anybody who thinks that with the new coach, we're suddenly going to replace Williams, we're not going to get a designated player as a center back. No way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna focus on two attacking. We're gonna get a Gigi and Almada replacement.
What if they add a fourth designated player in 2025?
They're never gonna use it on a defender. Ever.
You don't think so?
No.
With Marinchuk?
No, if they were gonna do that, they would have kept Miles.
Well, but that rule wasn't in place when Miles was
here. Yeah, but still, they're not gonna do it.
Four designated players, right?
My point being that I don't think that we're suddenly going to really, really have a major upgrade talent-wise in the back. Our talent in the back is mixed because I think Amador and Gregerson are good, right? And I think Lennon and Williams are suspect defensively, right? But I don't think it's just going to be solved by new talent. So what's going to happen is whoever the coach is going to have to tactically coach better to have us concede less goals. That is the only way. Otherwise, we're back to where Pineda was. Right? What our strength is particularly the defensive midfield, right? Sleaze, Miyumba, Dax, Fortune, right? Yeah. Not so great, I mean, Miranchuk, if you call him an attacking midfielder, sure, but he's really a forward. But
what does Guzan get paid? Where is he in this spectrum? I mean, is he like $1 million a year?
No, he's more than that, but I think it's not
1.5 at the most. I mean, I would think.
You think? I thought it was more than that. I don't know. You're the salary guy.
I don't know that it could be much more than that. Yeah, he's low. Look at that.
Is that accurate? The interwebs sometimes lie. We have what does it say? 612,500.
That's exactly what I was guessing. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's just the way the MLS works with the other young guys we got to bring on.
Yeah.
So is he here next year or is he retire?
He's not retiring.
You don't think so? Even to go
No.
out on a high like this? That's what
No.
I was hopeful. Like,
That's
No.
too much of an adrenaline
no,
rush.
I think he might. He has like 4 kids.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should.
He's done very well in the commentator's booth when he's been up
He's
there.
been terrific.
He's
as a
been
commentator.
fantastic.
Mhm. He's
So
going to make a
maybe-
great commentator.
Yeah.
Or maybe a coach. He's clearly smart.
Yeah, he could be a good coach. But
I
I think commentator for a little bit.
He'll be around in the game for sure.
I think if we progress a little further, he might. If we make the semifinals or something like that, maybe he'll.
Well, here's why I say no, because Dax McCarty, who's already announced that he retired,
Mm-hmm.
he has said publicly that if they win MLS Cup, he's coming back.
Wait, why?
Why? I don't
Why
know
would you
because-
do that?
I don't know. I would have said that would be like the moment you for sure would leave.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because Dax McCarty is the guy that he's like, man, I can't believe I came to Atlanta and this dumpster fire is happening with
Right.
the way I'm going to end my career. And now Dax McCarty is like, oh my God, there's a moment of happiness for him.
At
right
least
now.
he got to experience the Benz crowd at a home
100
playoff
Yes.
game.
That's what he wanted. He was like, I saw Atlanta
he was
United.
giddy.
Yeah.
He was absolutely giddy after
Good
that.
for him.
Yeah.
I was very happy for him for
Yeah,
that
it's
because
probably the biggest crowd he's ever
he
had
deserved
in
that.
MLS and
Yeah.
all those games and all those years with Red Bull and with Nashville and blah blah blah.
and you can see it in his play too. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
But why come? I'm completely confused. Like,
I-
why not drop the mic?
I also
It
am
makes no
confused.
sense. Yeah. Yeah. I don't
Makes
know.
no
I
sense
think
to me.
I think Guzan might call it. I think he might call it after this year.
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
come back for that one like send off
Is he
game.
But
Yeah.
for those of you out there like who are like, oh, we're
This
winning
is-
the cup now. Even as somehow we could come out of the East because the East we can beat Orlando.
This
It's
is a-
possible,
this-
and we could come out of the East because the East sucks now. But no way we're beating LA or LA.
But the question with Guzan is like, this is his last contract year, right? He's contract's up at the end of this year,
which is why I think you probably will go.
right? Or does he become a player coach?
Yeah, forget Valentino. Just make Guzan the coach. He'd probably be
Yeah.
a great
No,
coach.
like a
Kind of,
player, goalkeeper coach.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I thought you meant head coach.
No.
Remember that they tried that with Friedel. He was the head coach. Anyway, for New England.
did not know that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
All right. So, anything more on Atlanta United playoffs? Or you want to talk a little European soccer?
we should make predictions
Yep.
against Orlando.
Well, we
Let's
did.
put it out.
We
Sort of,
did,
but let's
sort
put
of.
it truly on the line. What's your
All right. Well,
prediction?
Carmen, let's put you on
All right.
center stage.
I'm gonna stay with my optimism. I'm gonna go that we win, and we win 3-2.
3-2. You know what? I'm just gonna roll with Carmen on this one. 3-2, Atlanta on the road, because this train isn't stopping.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
So I
go.
say nobody wins.
Don't-
2-2, which means
Yeah,
there's
okay.
no winner technically.
Yeah.
2-2, we go to penalty kicks.
Okay. Who's Orlando's keeper? I don't even know who their keeper
I
is.
was just gonna ask you this, Carmen.
Okay,
You're
my
supposed to
fault,
know all
my
the
fault,
keepers.
My fault.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. So you're pretty close with Carmen and I's prediction. It's gonna be a close one, but it goes to PKs.
I think we lose on PKs.
Lose on PKs.
Now, Greg Guzan has finally decided to figure out how to save PKs lately, which he for the last 3 years.
if it
he's
goes to
been
PKs,
horrible.
we
Oh,
win
Pedro
too.
Galese is their
I think if it
goalkeeper.
goes 2-2 when we go to PKs, we win as well.
I think on the road against it, we lose in PKs. So we don't technically lose.
We're gonna
Because it's
harness
technically-
Okay. So I like the two.
Jo-
That's actually
even,
good.
Even
My
Joseph
optimism.
Martinez is with us somewhere in
I
spirit.
know he
right
showed
now.
up at the game.
He was at the game.
Was he?
And
He was at the
Guzan,
game.
like Guzan and him,
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
For everybody
Like,
who
wow.
thinks that, we go back, that he was the problem with Pineda and Aros Campoyo, think again.
Yes.
He was the problem because he was pissed, but he
Yeah.
had every right to be pissed. He was right. He could see it. He knew that Pineda was a fraud, and he just lost his
That's
freaking
what
mind.
I kept saying.
You kept saying it, and you were 100% right,
Yeah.
Mikey Dobbs. You were 100% right. You didn't deserve it.
Goodness. All right. And what we got? Elliot says Atlanta wins 2-1.
2-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so what do we have? So I said win 3-2. Are you sticking with win 3-2?
I'm
Are you-
stick-
I would
I'm-
really like us to win. I'm gonna. So I think
I'm sticking
the
with you,
smart
Carmen.
money-
okay. All
the
right.
smart money is on us losing his PK. So I'm gonna say we win on PKs.
Okay. Went out for your case.
Yeah, why not?
All
Right?
right.
Roll the dice.
Look at our optimism,
that's
guys.
that's not any formula system or whatever. That's just
At this point,
pure homerism.
I'm all in at this point.
Well, I've been in the whole time. I never gave up on this team, even though I thought we were horrible and we had no chance. I was like, hey, you never know.
Why don't we spend a couple minutes
F them all
talking about across the pond?
Okay.
You got the energy?
Yeah.
Sure, bring it.
What are we
What's
talking
up?
about?
We got a new coach.
Real Madrid was supposed to be the greatest team of all time, and they're not.
Evidently not. And
although the coach finally says that he figured out how to fix them, and then they won like 4-1. He's like, I figured it out.
Is that when Vinicius Jr. scored a hat trick?
Yeah.
Well, he might be
he's
good.
a smart coach,
but he's not the Ballon d'Or winner.
No.
Got
Rodrigo.
Yeah, that team is a disaster.
And
City?
Manchester City has
Real
lost
Madrid.
four times in a row.
That's
First time in Guardiola history.
I mean, Real Madrid, they'll probably turn it around because there's just too many superstars. But it is nice to see them struggle, given all the egos on that team and the egos within the club and the egos that the ownership. It's just great to see a team like that fail. It really is. When I wake up in the morning, when I watched the Milan game when Christian Pulisic dominated them. I
love it.
And then I would look, let me show I want to see it all in flow. Let's open up and have the greatest attacking display of all time.
If you wanted to see
goal
that,
after goal,
then you should have watched Christian Pulisic take it to him.
Well, yeah, but
because
it did.
He did.
He did indeed.
Anyway. Well, he is playing. I mean,
he's playing out.
You play that well against.
So Pochettino, are we semifinalists?
No.
I said I'm on record that says if we get a good coach,
we
are a semifinalist in the World Cup. I'm sticking to it.
I think I have to wait this out to see how things unfold.
You guys think I'm a pessimist? No, but no, I'm optimist.
But don't you agree, David?
Just a pessimist when I was under Pineda.
Okay.
It just drove me into because just looking at it, you're like, no, we
just
can't.
wait.
Gonzalo. Oh, you gotta let it play.
Sorry.
But don't you agree it's a little too early to predict how the U.S. men's national team is going to be until
of course
the squad? I mean,
of course,
it's way
you
too
don't know
early.
who's going to be hurt and whatever. I'm just saying the way too early prediction. If everybody's healthy and everything else,
who are those? Healthy who?
Yeah, you don't know. There could be players who come out of the woodwork who we are wishing are healthy and who are not even on the team yet.
Did you say there are 4 keepers in this? They picked 4 keepers going into this
I didn't
next
say
week.
that, but that is true.
But I was just like, do they usually take 4?
We have a real problem with the goalkeeper position. It's so funny because for how many years the only world class players that we had was a goalkeeper, right? We had Brad Friedel, we had Casey Keller, we had before that even Tony Miola, and we had Tim Howard, right? And even Brad Guzan, right? We had world class keepers. Always the U.S. had great keepers, and suddenly the rest of the world. So the team that never had a keeper that always blew it, Brazil. They had this amazing team after team, and they never had a keeper. Right. Suddenly, they have the best 2 goalkeepers in the world.
That's such a shame,
right?
So frustrating.
And we don't have a goalkeeper. How is that possible?
Yeah.
I really thought Zach Steffen was going to come back and be the answer, and he might still be a shot stopping. He's really good, but over and over with his feet, you're like,
not buying it.
That's why I was always wondering why Guardiola never put him on the team, and that's why.
Yeah,
because he's such a stickler for playing.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't have it.
So
he's a true American
Manchester
keeper.
United,
just
save, keep the ball in the net.
Manchester United, let's Ten Hag go.
Ten Hag, goodbye.
And Ruud Van Nistelrooy gone.
I woke up.
Oh, he's gone.
After finally, I've been watching them, right?
Yeah, he won't be retained by the new coach.
I woke up and I said to my son Simon, who's the podcast European correspondent, I said, it's enough. We've seen enough. I was really a full advocate for bringing him back because I didn't think we had better options. And I thought last year we had so many defenders hurt, you cannot judge him. But this year, everybody's been healthy. They actually fixed the 2 things that we had wrong. They got center backs, right? So we got De Ligt, we got Euro, who hasn't played yet, but and obviously
Casemiro
Martinez. And then they also brought in Ugarte. And the thing that drove me crazy, the gap in the team for the last 5 years has been defensive midfield. They sign Ugarte, right? And Ten Hag leaves him on the effing bench. I kept watching. I'm like, you're out of your effing mind. I mean, seriously? And he's like, oh, he hasn't adapted to my tactics yet. I'm like, tactics, all he does is win the ball. That's all you need. And maybe he'll get better in your team, whatever, but just let him win the ball. That's what you need.
So what do you think of this new Portuguese coach?
So Van Nistelrooy comes in and he's like, puts Ugarte in the starting lineup every time. And suddenly we win. You know, we've won
Like
4 games. He hasn't lost yet.
Yeah.
He's 3-1 or 3-0-1. The Portuguese coach is awesome.
Yeah.
Anarim.
Got a good track record, young.
Winning record, super young. I mean, you know, you don't know until you know, but he's a great signing. Yeah. I mean, he may or may not succeed, but everything's set. He's won.
Sporting Lisbon, right?
Yeah, I always say this.
And who did they just beat in Champions League? Yeah.
They killed him 4-1.
So the Man United fans might be happy about that.
Yeah.
Bring him on.
But, you know, he's won multiple titles. He's done it for more than 1 year. He's been there 4 years, I think. It's not one of the big clubs, the biggest clubs there. And he's won the title multiple times. He started off this season undefeated. They're in first place. Like, that doesn't mean, but it means, you know, like that's what you should sign. Right. If you're out there listening Lagerwey, you know, this is what I was saying when people are like, oh, who should be our coach? And I'm like, I don't know. Just find me a winner somewhere. Like, for example, nobody brought up him. I'm not saying he was ever going to come to Atlanta, but there's a guy who was clearly winning all the time.
That's what Twitter, you go down this path with the guy coach on the Twitter handle. Like we used Division I college coach as the extreme, right? Like somebody who has a winning, but yeah, it's like go to the Swiss league, go to the Portuguese league, go to the Belgian league. Like who are these young
Australia, where Postolagu came from?
Yeah, they're willing to take like a 2-year MLS gig, to play against Messi.
Even at this point, Van Nistelrooy, although you know, again, so he's been a head coach.
Oh, I was going to say he's not been a head coach.
Really.
Yes, he has. He's been a head coach for PSV in Holland. He did really, really well there. He was a year there, did really, really well, and then resigned. Which is nuts.
Oh,
People are like, why? Because he's like, I need more coaching experience.
So he came home.
He wasn't there very long, though, was he?
Yeah, 1 year. And that's my problem, that he only did really well for 1 year. And I don't like people. I said that you need a winning record and it has to be more than 1 year.
Yeah.
So he doesn't qualify for
Patrick Vieira is kind of beating him on that criteria already.
Well, Patrick Vieira has a proven losing record. Proven in the last 3 jobs that he has had. He's won 1 place. He didn't even win a title at New York City FC. He did pretty well there. Not phenomenal, but really pretty well. And then he lost at 3 different jobs, right? Strasbourg, right? And Crystal Palace and
Crystal Palace.
No, what was the third club? He was at a third club. Why am I'm totally blanking on it now. Anyway, it was in France at not in Strasbourg, but he originally started at, is it Nice or whatever the original club?
Yeah, I think it was Nice. You may be right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at one of the French clubs and got fired there too. Right. So why? What says to him? You know, again, I've argued with people on Twitter about this. I'm like, I'm a scientist, right? If you show me 3 poor records and 1 good record, I would say the 1 good record is the outlier. The reason why people are drawn to it is because the outlier happens to be MLS. So you can say either he happens to be awesome, but only in MLS. I don't believe that. I think soccer is soccer, right? Yeah. Or you can say that was the actual outlier, was only for a couple of years. And really the true Patrick Vieira has been who he's been since, and he's not a good coach.
But scientists also look at the ingredients too, right? Which is the players.
Yeah. And
can't discount that though.
I don't know all the different situations and things,
but that matters though.
Yeah, but if you've had if you've had 3 different tries, you can't say the players were bad at all 3 places. It can't be. It just can't be.
If you got crappy ingredients, then it can be.
It can't be. No,
sure can. Right?
Not at 3 places.
Yeah, crappy players.
Statistically speaking,
you're not winning. You're not winning nowhere.
I
mean, am I wrong on that? Like, if I give you bad ingredients, isn't going to stink?
It's like Martinez. You know, when he went from Liverpool, he went to Inter Milan, and they started off really poorly, and he said, "I don't have the players." Mourinho had been the previous coach.
Uh-huh.
He won the treble, Champions League, league title, cup title the previous year with the exact same team. You're full of shit, right? Like, how do you mean you don't have the players? The previous coach won everything with those players. Suddenly they're like terrible. They're a year older, but no. Anyway, so my point being, no Vieira, no Valentino, because I don't give anybody our head coaching job. Even if people are like, oh, if Valentino leaves, could he be good? Great, he could be. Yeah, I think he could be really above average, really good, and maybe even becomes elite. Right? He could be.
Yeah.
But you are not getting my head coach job at Atlanta United unless you can be a head coach for more than 1 year and have a winning record. Period.
I like it. That's what we've been saying.
Yeah. So he doesn't qualify. Yeah. Valentino, and I would say to you, go somewhere else, go to a smaller MLS club, and then come here. Now, the one guy, they said there's all this drama going on in Cincinnati, right? Noonan might very well be available.
In the mix.
I would hire him in a heartbeat.
Who's going to, so is
San
Diego coming in 2025 or 2026?
I feel like it's next year.
I think it's next year, right? There's rumors that
they already hired a coach, didn't they?
They're looking at Kevin De Bruyne
as a player, yeah.
And they already have Chucky Lozano.
Yes,
Chucky Lozano,
and I think they've already hired
Chucky
a
Lozano.
coach. Didn't they already hire a coach?
You think team in 2025.
Okay, so 2025. And how many teams will that make it?
A lot.
A lot.
A crap ton.
A lot. Crap ton.
Anyway,
so, I think it's 29, right?
Yeah.
29th team.
Yeah. So find us a good coach.
Have we talked about it all?
I think so.
I think we have. And I want to say thank you again for the red wine. Carmen, thanks as always.
Are you going wine shopping, Mikey Dobbs?
I am.
Do you know what you're getting yet?
Yeah, you guys are going to get McManus.
Oh,
no.
That is not what you're talking about.
All right, fine. You guys will get. Carmen's like, what is that? It's what I always.
Okay.
No, I'll treat you guys to something nice. Something nice. I got to go to Costco soon, so we'll get something good. Yeah, I've lost a lot of bets. Miami did not win MLS Cup. Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
The field was always a good bet.
Let's
go. We got to do it one more time, though.
He's cold. He's a motherfucking wall. Rackers on.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for the Twitter feed. I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, but it seems like it.
Yeah, it seems like some people are tuned in. So thanks for tuning in. We'll recap the Orlando game next episode. Talk to you then, folks.